Radio Cayman's Historical Vignettes was brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects.
Talk Today is brought to you by Subway, open 24 hours in Countryside, Anderson Square in Georgetown, and Centennial Towers in West Bay. And by the Ministry of District Administration, Tourism and Transport. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your sister islands. MedLab in Smith Road Plaza, your complete medical laboratory solution. Call 949-7331. And Savannah Pharmacy in Countryside Shopping Village, convenient opening hours including Sundays and holidays.
Oh, I think they're doing a great job. A lot of them are.
Good afternoon, Dwayne. How are you?
Not too bad, sir.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Radio Cayman's Talk Today with Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
But I do have some questions.
There are more questions than answers.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. If you're ready to talk, we're willing to listen.
Well, I really enjoy this program today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
May God bless every person.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome. Well, you may feel like December, but we're still in August. It's not because the sun is shining, it's hot outside. It's just because the joy is in your heart. Hey, welcome to Talk Today, and I hope you accept the invitation to be part of the open line segment until 1 o'clock. Ms. Catherine Tyson will join us until 1:30, and then at 1:30, Dr. Alan Larson over at the HSA, one of the orthopedic surgeons, will come on board and we'll talk about sports medicine. So stay tuned for Talk Today.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today, the Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program. We ask our listeners to avoid statements or comments which are abusive, derogatory, malicious, or defamatory. Do not use any indecent language or make any statement which is false or misleading. Email talktoday@candw.ky or call 1-800-534-8255. Courtesy of Flow,
Cayman's #1 network that connects you to your world like never before.
Let your voice be heard. Once again, here's your host, Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back. 949-8037, 1-800-534-8255, or you can WhatsApp 925-3261 and share your thoughts with us. We'll be open line until 1, and at 1 to 1:30, Ms. Catherine Tyson will come on board. A couple of good things she wants to share with us, so we'll listen intently. Then 1:30, Dr. Alan Larson, the orthopedic surgeon over at the HSC, will be on board, and we'll talk about sports and exercise minute. Good time to learn. But hey, what is on your mind? Well, following yesterday's discussion, we had a couple of people send in some thoughts relative to, well, not just what was shared, but what sparked in them certain considerations, not the least of which was the issue relative to what potentially could be the plight of many as they continue to age and work and find that after they get to a particular age, they'll be asked to retire, maybe find it difficult to continue employment, and how will they survive, especially if the cost of goods and services, the cost of living continues to increase. Will that put ever more of a strain on government resources to provide for the people? If the pension amount is reduced, or even if the pensions that are allotted are insufficient to help to defray those increased costs. So a couple of people asked, well, is it time that the country look more closely at taking a direct investment in some of the things that seem to make wealth for everybody else instead of our own? A couple of suggestions are put forward. One individual said, well, do we need to look more closely at direct taxation, not just on income and profits and dividends and the like, but do we need to look at some of the funds that leave our shores, that are in our banks? Do we take, and levy a small percentage on some of that? Others have said, well, couldn't the government take an active stake in some of the businesses. When I asked one individual, to say, well, in the past we may have missed the boat, but we would sell crown lands that were redeveloped when we were selling out and giving franchises for telecoms and utilities, whether it was water or sewage or electricity. Should we not have maintained a stake? One individual said, well, what if the government, through not necessarily expropriation or some sort of nationalized policy, but actively take a stake in some of these entities? Well, what is your thought? 8949-8037, 1-800-534-8255. WhatsApp 925-3261. Or, share your thoughts if you want to call directly, 949-8037. But Flo makes it a toll-free call at 1-800-534-8255. One of the other sentiments expressed by one individual had to deal with, what she shared is this ever-growing public commentary about the need to protect the environment, to save the environment. But she is questioning to what extent the government is taking that charge. Now, she did give the Honorable Premier great credit, and not just and putting it within his ministry, but from her perspective, his willingness to champion it personally, to see that it's not only preserved, protected, and promoted, but we do much to ensure that as a country we participate in that whole protection of our environment. But she wonders to what extent then the government, the elected, the appointed, and by extension the rest of the community is on board with some of those measures. She gave a number of examples. She shared, if we're constantly building, now is that creating more of an negative environmental impact, not just in the short term, but what are we doing for down the road? The roads that we build, are there alternatives to the ever-growing expansion, construction of roads? Not only the way they're built, the sizes, maybe their location, but the need. She questioned whether we could find other ways to move people without necessarily having to construct more and more roads. And then she also asked the whole, perspective of, well, as government invests in certain things, are there things that we could do to reduce our carbon footprint, to, if not necessarily offset, but significantly reduce the amount of pollutants that we emit as a country? And she shared that it's good to see that government is talking about alternative energies and the usage of, but she says, what about water, and not just the reduction and sometimes in the waste and its reuse, but could we consider rainwater runoff, stormwater management, and the drainage systems? She also asks, well, what if we had again some sort of integrated system led by government that allowed people to tie in collectively into the national grid through wind or solar, so that the benefits accrue to the country and not necessarily to a sole investor or to a particular corporate entity. And she shared that above all, as we talk about these things, is that all we're doing? Feel-good measures, but not necessarily anything more significant. Well, a few other thoughts were shared, but we want to hear yours as well. 949-8037. Toll free with the compliments of Flo. 1-800-534-8255. Or you can WhatsApp 925-3261 and share your thoughts with us. Perhaps one of the other conversations that we had from a listener who referenced that he was meaning to call for a few days now, and he said, well, that might be weeks the way time goes, as he shared. But it's the idea that we have a lot of communities, sort of participation relative to beach cleanups, roadside cleanups. He shared that any run of a month there may be a number of such organized activities on a regular basis throughout the different districts. But he shared it is almost to the point where, as quickly as you pick up the litter from the roads, it's there again a few hours. And he's asking, what do we do? Is it enforcement and sufficient fines to deter people? But he thought maybe more of a community awareness and education, not only using the roadside cleanups as a way to help those people who may have run afoul of the law, pay back to society by going out, but perhaps it would draw attention, not that those individuals necessarily are the ones who are causing the increased litter on our roadways and the like, but perhaps by bringing attention to it through this might cause other people to appreciate that you might be required, in addition to paying a fine for some offense, have to also do this, and that may, as you said, no pun intended, capture more people, bring greater attention to the ever increasing garbage along our roadways, but it might put more people out on a more regular basis, helping to clean up, not just those community citizens or corporate groups that organize themselves ever so often to clean certain areas. But then he shared that even if you were to look, and he named a few areas, he said, where's the Saturday morning, people out cleaning before the weekend is out, that same area, you can still see that the debris just increasingly appearing. Now let's talk about that, because maybe it's a reflection of what we've allowing to happen in our society. Is there something we can do to address it? 8949-8037 or 1-800-534-8255. Stay tuned for Talk Today.
Yeah, and I don't have time to fight traffic and get my lunch from Subway. I have so much work to do.
Why don't you order Subway by using the Let's Eat or Bento app? Save time, stay dry, and get your sandwich fast.
I never thought of that. Great idea. I'm going to order now.
Order me a veggie pizza while you're at it.
And a cookie platter for the office.
Too busy at work or home? Is the rainy weather stopping you from dining out? Order your favorite Subway sandwich, wrap, or pizza through the Let's Eat or Bento app with fast and reliable delivery. Subway, eat fresh.
For medical lab services in Cayman, go straight to MedLab.
For a full range of medical services, pleasant, clean and comfortable environment, no long lines and affordable fees, visit MedLab at the Smith Road Plaza. Open Monday to Friday, 8:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. and half day on Saturdays. Call 949-7331 to make your appointment.
For medical lab services in Cayman, MedLab.
Ask our professional team about the benefits of cutting-edge technology with MedLab's new state-of-the-art digital mammogram machine.
Busy, busy, busy. Feel like there's not just enough hours in the day. Savannah Pharmacy, service to make your life easier. Now you can WhatsApp your prescription order to 929-5045. And pickup is just around the corner with everything your family needs and convenient opening hours including Sundays and holidays. WhatsApp your prescription order to 929-5045. Savannah Pharmacy, wholesome values with modern conveniences.
Quick, quick! Parker's Raceway wants to find the quickest female racer. Quickest Suzuki Swift, quickest hybrid, quickest Mercedes. You get the point. We're looking for the quickest racers to show up at the track and show us what you've got. Check out our social media page for the complete list of prizes for test and tune and race day. Shout out to our sponsors: Monster, Valvoline, AI Rentals, EventPro, VP Racing Fuels, Parker's, NGK Spark Plugs, and Reliable Industries. Register and get your tickets for August 27th and 28th in store at Ace, Parker's, or online at parkersraceway.com.
It always seems impossible until it's done, said Nelson Mandela. Join me, Rashana Hides, your reigning Miss World Cayman, as I pass on my crown to the new queen who will represent Cayman at the next Miss World pageant. Join us on Saturday, the 17th of September for a night of celebration and competition at the Hartwell Theatre for the annual Miss World Cayman pageant. Cocktails at 6 p.m. with a 7 p.m. start. Tickets are available on ticketsplus.ky. Join us as we crown our new Miss World Cayman.
Talk today. But I do have some questions.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program. Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back, and thanks for joining us. It is open line as we go straight to the phones. Welcome. Good afternoon. Hello. Good afternoon.
So how are you doing?
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. I just wondering if you want the problem or the solution first.
Well, if you like some politicians, they'll find the solution for the problem. Some will find the problem for the solution. You know. So.
I hope you're not saying that politician.
No. I mean, things that we accuse you of, but not that one. Okay.
So I in my life I found that, well, recently, let's talk about when you talk about the litter, right? When they collect, a lot of the stuff that they're collecting are from other countries. I took a walk just where I am right now, and I can see things from Spanish countries. And we kind of caught in this gyro where teams keep kind of coming towards our direction.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not like necessarily things that we actually put into the environment.
Right.
Because I'm saying, I don't know what comes in, I mean, on the south coast of Grand Cayman. Especially here in Cayman Brac, you can see a lot of different labels that have different names from different countries.
Right. So is it stuff that may be passing vessels, cruise ships, and the like?
Yeah, I think it's a lot of that. No, that's a problem. So solution. Now, I like to patronize different fast food organizations because they have salads and different things that are great, right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
But the thing that I encountered recently was, I remember before they used to have refills.
Right. And
refills is the thing that I think we can go with in terms of trying to eliminate how much times you buy a cup from the place. Now, keep in mind that the organization has to make money by selling the cup.
Mm-hmm.
So, can we just refill and not have to keep buying a cup?
Even if when you go there for that first transaction, they charge you maybe a couple of cents extra for the cup or not. Then when you go back, you pay for the liquid to go in the cup, but you don't have to pay for the cup. Is that what you're saying?
Something like that.
Okay.
I think the W company used to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember going there and you could get the refills, but of course they didn't have the kind of drinks that they had like sugary drinks then, but we don't get those refills anymore.
Right.
But I'm just saying that refills is probably a good way to go in terms of trying to cut down on the amount of the volume of waste.
Mm-hmm.
Just sticking on the environment, I think one of my personal things I championed, and I'm kind of proud of right now, I have my chopsticks right next to me, is I haven't used plastic forks, plastic spoons, and knives since 2017.
Mm-hmm.
So I just want to encourage other people to try to we have to try to kind of do something.
Yeah, and that's good. Can I ask you though, and this isn't said to in other vein and maybe ask people to consider it, and it's not my idea. It was shared with me by a group of students, and as I was listening, I can't even attempt to repeat it with the same level of passion, enthusiasm, insight, and eloquence that these students presented it. But I came away with it this way. The students were sharing that we put a lot of emphasis, make a lot of noise about single-use plastics, and it's good to reduce that. So we get the straws out of something else, from metal to silicone to what have you, or we use biodegradable. But they were saying, what if we put that same energy into things that actually matter? So making homes more energy efficient, making alternative energy like solar and the like, so that we invest in that. Would that not be a greater impact than making a lot of this noise on single-use plastics? And
it would be, but the timing is what's going to affect us all, because we're going to take too long to listen to this generation.
Mm-hmm. Right.
They probably do have the solution, but then big corporations still have to make money in these other ways.
Mm-hmm.
So the youths are probably right.
I mean, as I listen to it, I'm inclined to think that perhaps it's something to consider, all right?
But we each have to do our part. I know you have your time, but I don't want to keep it too long. But
no, man.
Something to ponder.
Something to ponder, and I like how you share that, right? Because the issues, as you said, are collective impact, and so hopefully with a collective input, we might be able to come up with something that has a prolonged benefit, But before, you chat when you wish, and you can call back if you have time you want, man. All right?
Okay, thank you, friend.
Blessings to you, my friend. Let's take this other call. Hey, good afternoon. Welcome. Thanks for calling. All right, well, it was there. No. Let's see who wants to share a thought with us. 949-8037. Toll free, the compliments of Flo at 1-800-534-8255. What do you think of the caller's last point? We look at things that we can reuse, as you were sharing. If we have a container from a particular restaurant, he referenced the franchises and the like, and you go in there and you take a container that they've issued. You purchased it, perhaps maybe came with your initial purchase, maybe it was a premium charge for it, and then you go back and you order the beverage of choice. You present your mug, your cup, your container, and they fill it according to the size of the thing. Now, there are some who will not do that because of maybe they see it as an issue of pride. There are some companies that would say no, they don't want to do it that way. Well, we know coffee, for instance, some entities say, bring your mug and we'll put some coffee in it for you. Whether it's a smaller cost or whether it's an amount. Some of us, when we go in there, and the joke is, that glass that holds a bottle of wine, when someone says how much you only had a glass, but it can hold a whole bottle. Well, some would probably do that the same with their coffee or their beverage. Let's go to the phones, Welcome, good afternoon. How are you?
Mr. Sterling, good evening. How are you?
Very thankful, sir. How about yourself?
Got a big question to ask you.
Yep.
I need you to research it for me. There was an announcement said that government was assisting anybody that used less than 2,000 kilowatts of electricity per month, right?
Yeah.
That is what I understand, but I think yesterday someone at CUC explained it something different to me. But, I mean, I never went to school too much. Only went half a day. And when I was going, they had done close, so I had to turn back.
Yeah.
But I understood them said that anyone that were burning less than 2,000 kilowatts, $100 were being deducted out of for them. Can you find out for me if that is correct or not? Because my bill this month was more than last month.
Right. Well, I can look for the press release, but from what was shared, it isn't that it's $100 off. The CUC sort of concession there that's being extended through government is, as you shared, is up to 2,000 or less. I think it's 100, over 100 and less than 2,000. Only residential customers, and it's for a 3-month period, but you qualify each month. So just because you have it in July or August, it doesn't mean you get it in September, depending on your usage.
Yes, I agree with that. I understand that. Once it is below 2,000 kilowatts.
Yeah, right.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Is that correct?
Yeah, 2,000 or less.
Yeah, 2,000 or less. So what I am saying is that as long as you're under 2,000 kilowatts, you're supposed to get the $100 reducted off it, but it's not so, at least not with my bill. Mine was more this month than last month, although it just started this month. But I'm hearing now that it because of fuel factor. But if you, this is somebody that never went to school. If somebody bill is $300 a month and they take off 100. They say you take off 100. I mean 200.
But
pay,
yeah,
right?
it isn't $100. It's calculated on the usage, and it probably, I remember looking at it once. It probably works out to maybe 5 cents on a kilowatt. The reduction works out.
Once I'm saying once it's below 2,000 kilowatt.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that correct?
Yeah, once it's below 2,000.
That's it. So I don't know if.
But let me ask then.
A special list to CUC or
right
for certain people, because I don't see it working that way.
Let me clarify. Let me just for my benefit. You've got your bill, and your bill is 2,000 or less kilowatt hours. Is that what you're saying, sir? All right. Well, yeah, I think calling CUC directly, but if it's 2,000 or less, and then they do the calculation, you'll get a sum off, but it isn't, as I understand it, isn't a specific sum. It's calculated on usage. 8949-8037, 1-800-534-8255. You can WhatsApp 925-3261 and share your thoughts. You can also, give us a shout on the floor toll-free line at 1-800-534-8255 or 949-8037. Now, that caller's point, and I think to the comments yesterday following the show from others who were saying we're in this increasingly spiral of increasing costs, and people are asking for more pay in order to pay for the cost, which increases the cost and the like. So some have shared as we get down the line. Well, the phone lines are open. 949-8037, 1-800-534-8255, or WhatsApp 925-3261, and share your thoughts with us. Let's pause quickly, take a short break. When we come back, let's see if I can find this message and share with you. Stay tuned for Talk Today.
A caring and community spirit, cherished family and cultural values. These are some of the things that still embodies the Caymanian way of life in the Eastern Districts today. Savannah Pharmacy, your neighborhood pharmacy, located in Countryside Shopping Village, is delighted to offer products and services of real value. Whether it's catering to your family's medical needs or carrying apparel, gifts, and beauty products, Savannah Pharmacy provides you with more than just prescriptions. Remember, they're always just around the corner with everything your family needs and convenient opening hours, including Sundays and holidays. Savannah Pharmacy. For more information, call 946-3336.
Subway's giving you flavor around the clock with the new Chicken Squad sandwich options. Try the classic chicken and bacon ranch, the sweet and savory barbecue chicken, or the chicken cordon bleu. 3 new appetizing and delicious sub options that you can also make into a wrap. The Chicken Squad is available at Subway for only a limited time. Subway, giving you something to cluck about.
Back to school. Education is knowing the best back-to-school specials are at Reflections. Step into savings with up to 50% off selected footwear brands. Buy 1 pair and get the second pair of back-to-school shoes at 25% off. Save 50% off on all U.S. Polo handbags and backpacks. Ladies, don't miss the amazing daily deals in the clearance section on special selected women's fashions. Keep it classic with Levi jeans in a wide variety of styles and sizes from 28 to 48. And for the freshest gear, check out the new stock of Nike, Puma, Adidas, Johnny Cotton, and more. The best back-to-school savings are at Reflections. Find them on Shedden Road beside the Mango Tree. Open daily from 9 a.m. till after dark.
We'll be the coolest kids in school.
Cayman trees. They're marvelous, ingrained in our heritage. Did you know in the 1900s we were a major exporter of coconuts? More than 1 million per year. Of course, we know about our silver thatch, used for everything from roofs to brooms to hats and mats, and of course rope. To celebrate Her Majesty the Queen's Platinum Jubilee, you are invited to plant a tree for the Jubilee. Let us reseed our heritage in our soil. Join your neighbors for the Queen's Green Canopy and plant 1, 2, 3, or more of our native endemic or fruit-bearing trees. Register your tree and leave your green print at www.gov.ky/National Tree Planting or follow them on Facebook and Instagram. Plant a tree for the Jubilee, proudly brought to you by the Cayman Islands Government Ministry for Sustainability and Climate Resiliency. Let's green Cayman now.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome back. 949-8837, 1-800-534-8255 or WhatsApp 925-3261. Some open line as we share your thoughts with us. But the last caller in the one prior sort of singing a similar chord in the sense that people are concerned about the increase in costs. A couple of messages came in, not only costs, but employment prospects, and not just for those who are more mature. This message is saying even during the summer, some of the school leavers who are probably waiting to go back to their last year and want a little summer money, some of whom are considering what careers they want to pursue before they continue their studies, find it hard to find work, whether as just helpers and handyman on the construction sites or working in the office environments to learn to see if that is a space they want to. Now, this particular message, as I read it quickly during the break, paints a very discouraging picture as the person pens and shares that if our young students aren't able to get a little bit of job experience, get a sense of independence during the summers and the holidays, very much like many of us probably could have and did, not just in Cayman years gone by, but in other countries. He said in his home country, whether it was in the fast food restaurants or whether it was in some of the larger malls and the like, you could find work as a young person. You weren't paid a lot, but you didn't have a lot of expenses that gave you spending money. He shares that gave you a sense of introduction to what the working world was like. He relayed his story working for a particular employer, and the pay wasn't great, the perks were that spectacular, but he had a sense of independence. He could go out on weekends and have spending money. It gave him, no, he didn't use this word, but I will insert it for him, a sense of status amongst his friends. He had cash in his pocket, and that positioned him to be able to perhaps buy and treat as he opted to do. Maybe there were those of us who would save for particular things. Christmas, we wanted something, a birthday coming up, over and above what we may have expected that we would get, from family and friends. Now, his comments, if we take away that, what are we doing to the psyche of the young people? In that vein, well, what about the person entering the workforce because of some extended absence for one reason or the other, or the person that is in the workforce but is concerned that when they get 50 or 60, they may have only a few more working years before then they're being asked to exit the workforce. Not that they want to, but they not necessarily can afford to do so, and they must remain employed. But if their employment prospects are significantly reduced and the pay is a paltry sum, well, what is that doing to that person's mindset? Interesting questions to ponder. Perhaps there'll be answers to be provided that are meaningful, helpful, beneficial. Well, any perspective? 949-8837, 1-800-534-8255, or WhatsApp 925-3261. And then the other thought that was shared by a list. I was looking for the message that was sent through, but I think it may have been on another platform, and will look and hopefully find it, because there were some interesting words that were used and phrases that I thought would resonate with some. But the gist of the person's comment was simply one of quality of life, and asking to what extent, when we look at the Cayman, is this a Cayman that we recognize, even when compared to 10, 15, 20 years ago? And with that increased change, what would it look like 10, 15, 20 years from now? The major part that I wanted to read was the person wasn't suggesting that it had anything to do with only the social changes that are taking place. More people from different places, or concentration of one people versus others. But he was speaking to the whole issue that it seems to be maybe because of the increased population, the increased pace of life, people are growing increasingly disconnected. And as I read the message once or twice, what stuck was the idea that as this sort of disconnected approach and mindset, he was suggesting that if you look, people are not only disconnected from larger society, but they're becoming more and more sort of cliquish. Now, he used a different phrase that I thought didn't quite know that terminology, and when he clarified it, that was one thing I would have liked to have read to see if this resonates with others. But he was sharing, you're seeing more and more behaviors where smaller and smaller groups of people are playing sports together, they're traveling together, they're dining together, they're interacting in a way to the exclusion of others. And his concern being that if this takes root, then you'll have small pockets of society that are divided along particular lines, and it's not just an interest. He gave examples of certain activities that take place. Some would be social, some would be service oriented, some religious, some were sports. One was not just service oriented, but it was educational. And he shared that it seemed those participating now, was it because of the particular area of interest? Was it the way it was organized and constituted? Was it the way it's being presented and promoted? But he shared there are growing concerns on his part of these sort of silos, these small pockets of communities segregating themselves to celebrate and interact just among some. Hence why the phrase he used, I didn't know when I asked. He said, well, it's akin to being cliquish. Not a phrase we've heard much recently, and not something that I'll say I realize was as prevalent as he has alleged. Well, what is your thought? Is that something that is happening in the Cayman? We are getting more and more cliquish. We hang out with these people to do this activity because it reminds us of perhaps where we lived before or where we were from. Or we organize ourselves not because of the shared interests, but because we have people who are more homogenous. Now, if people love dominoes, and it doesn't matter if they're one age or they're generations apart, whether their ethnicity is this, that, or the next, or their economic status, they're assembled to play the game of dominoes, very much like we have when we play football. But if the organized activity is just sort of the organized along some other line, whether it's economics or racial or ethnicity or the like, well, even geographical areas, would that create a problem for some going forward? Now, it may not, as it's for many of us even register, because it's probably small numbers, nothing that seems to exclude anyone until someone applies for entry, and then only then it becomes evident that, well, this is just for us. His concern being, if that is the case, what would happen? He gave as an example 2 sporting events. He went to participate because he thought it was a pickup game of basketball or a pickup game of football. Initially, it didn't resonate. He says when he looked around and go, okay, most of the people playing this sport, seem to be, from this place or that, and wow, he's the only one that's not. Well, if you're invited, hey, great. If you're not, then it starts to perhaps have telling signs. Don't know your experience. Don't know if that is, as he shared, just something that he is concerned about, or if it's something that, as he alleged, it exists, but we don't speak to it publicly because we don't believe that it's really an issue, and if we ignore it, it might actually resolve itself. Well, you leave something to fester. Don't go to the doctor. Who knows? What may happen. 949-8037, 1-800-534-8255, or WhatsApp 925-3261, and share your thoughts. We've got the news at 1. When we come back, I hope to welcome our guest, Ms. Kathleen Tyson, and then at 1:30 on a different topic in partnership with the Health Services Authority. Dr. Alan Larson will join us. And excited to talk to him once again. He was in some time back. It was an informative, engaging, and very interesting discussion. I expect to see him this time around. All right, stay tuned for Talk Today.
89.9 Radio Cayman helps you to weather the storm during this hurricane season.
One of the most crucial elements of hurricane preparedness is storm awareness. During the season, it is of utmost importance to pay attention to the latest local weather forecasts, as hurricanes do not suddenly form or strike. There are various methods of advanced notification. Utilizing such may be the difference between a favorable outcome and disaster. Both television and radio serve as excellent mediums with up-to-the-minute storm path information in the wake of a hurricane. Another method of tracking a hurricane may be only arm's length away. Your smartphone or tablet can be your most valuable tool before, during, and after a storm, providing countless numbers of apps with crucial hurricane information. Many apps allow you to track storms with moving radar and satellite imagery, plus offer alerts, current conditions, forecasts, advisories, and even video.
This hurricane preparedness tip was brought to you by your community radio station, Radio Cayman 89.9 FM.
Traffic again? What in the world is going on?
Find out by tuning in to Radio Cayman's Traffic Report, brought to you 4 times daily during rush hours following the news at 7 a.m., 8 a.m., 12 noon, and 5:15 p.m. And brought to you by Subway. Need a meal on the go? Subway has 7 locations at Anderson Square, West Shore Plaza, and Industrial Park in Georgetown, Centennial Towers, West Bay, Reef Resort, East End, Countryside Shopping Village in Savannah, and in the Owen Roberts Airport Departure Lounge. No matter if you're running late, need to cater an event, or a staff meeting, Subway keeps you fueled with sandwiches, salads, pizza, wraps, and snacks. Subway, eat fresh.
Follow Radio Cayman on Twitter. All the latest information, breaking news, community events, and more. Follow us at twitter.com/Radio Cayman.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman. Your voice, your choice.
Local, regional, international. This is Headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
Today's biggest news.
With your latest headlines, I'm Felicia Rankin-Solins. The Cayman Islands Customs and Border Control Service confirms that a vessel with 6 male migrants arrived in Cayman Brac at approximately 10:45 a.m. on Tuesday, August 23, 2022. The 6 migrants have disembarked the vessel and are being processed in accordance with CBC's established protocols. In international news, lawyers for a Florida school gunman have asked a jury to spare him the death penalty, arguing that his brain was irretrievably broken owing to a difficult childhood. Nicholas Cruz pleaded guilty last year to killing 17 people at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland, Florida, on February 14, 2018. The trial will determine whether he is put to death or jailed for life. The case is the deadliest mass shooting to reach a jury trial in the U.S. On Monday, Melissa McNeil, Cruz's lead lawyer, said her client had been exposed to drugs and alcohol while in his mother's womb, citing this as a contributing factor to the massacre. YouTube has banned influencer Andrew Tate for violating its policies, including hate speech. The Google-owned social media site took action following Meta's decision to ban Mr. Tate from Facebook and Instagram. The former kickboxer rose to fame in 2016 when he was removed from TV show Big Brother over a video which appeared to depict him attacking a woman. He went on to gain notoriety online, with Twitter banning him for saying women should bear responsibility for being sexually assaulted. TikTok has also banned an account belonging to Mr. Tate as part of an ongoing investigation to remove content that violates its policies. A TikTok spokesperson told the BBC, misogyny is a hateful ideology that is not tolerated on TikTok. These are your headlines. I'm Felicia Rankin-Zollins.
For the latest in news and information,
follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio Cayman app or log on to our website, radiocayman.gov.ky.
For medical lab services in Cayman, go straight to MedLab. Blood test, x-ray, and mammogram, all of that is MedLab. Affordable fees and friendly service, a full professional team. MedLab is always comfortable, MedLab is always clean. For medical lab services in Cayman, MedLab.
Call 949-7331 and ask about MedLab's new state-of-the-art digital mammogram machine.
We're not ready for summer to be over. Parker's Raceway is offering an end-of-summer special for an all-out racing weekend, August 27th and 28th. Purchase one ticket, you get in for both days. Tickets are available in-store at Ace, Parker's, and online at parkersraceway.com. Don't forget to pick up your free kids ticket. We've got a whole new game area just for them. Shout out to our sponsors, Monster, Valvoline, AI Rentals, Event Pro, VP Racing Fuels, Parker's, NGK Spark Plugs, and Reliable Industries. Get your tickets for August 27th and 28th at parkersraceway.com.
The public are advised of the following road closure. The section of Cardinal Avenue between Albert Panton Street and Edward Street will be temporarily closed to traffic, projected to reopen at the end of August. As part of the Georgetown Revitalization Initiative, work is being carried out to transform Cardinal Avenue into a pedestrian-friendly street. For more information, members of the public can follow the Georgetown Revitalization Initiative on Facebook and Instagram at GT Revitalization.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome back, and thanks for joining us. In a few minutes, we'll have the excellent company of Miss Catherine Tyson. And now, well, some open line. 949-837, 949-6990, if that one works better for you. You know, 69 Chevy Camaro. It's a good car. So 949-6990. Or toll free with the compliments of Flow, 1-800-534-8255. And share your thoughts with us. I was looking back through a message that was sent through earlier. But let's take this call first. Hey, welcome. Good afternoon. Thanks for calling.
Ready?
Hey, how are we doing?
How are you, my brother?
Bless. How are you?
Well, man. I've missed you the last 6 months.
Yeah, have you been away for a while?
Yeah, I had a bit of a problem, but all sorted.
Okay, well, that's good to hear, man. It's always important that we get it sorted, yeah?
I'm listening to you on the radio and you sound a bit lonely, so that's to be cool.
What's that song? Loneliness Won't Leave Me Alone?
I'm telling you, man.
Happens some days, even to the best of us, huh?
Yeah. All good, man. Everything all right?
Yeah, I think so. And what is it will be?
Yeah. I've been listening on the radio a little bit. I haven't been much, but yeah, no, things came, man, to be picking up.
Yeah. Give us the solutions. I mean, there's a lot that people are worried about, and many no longer seem to find joy. And many of us have to dig deep because the woes of the world weigh heavily on our shoulders. So give us the solution.
Oh, my friend, my name doesn't start with a G, so I can't help you there. We all go through our ups and downs, and we need to pray to the big man. And I've learned, being away. Pray a lot to your higher power, regardless if it's God or whoever, whatever your domination is. Yeah, you know it's right. But prayer is a big thing.
You know, I appreciate you sharing that, because I think there are many people who would pray, who meditate, and they're not necessarily religious. They would say they're more spiritual, but they have a strong prayer life, subscribing to a higher power and the like. If I could, there are some of us who, when we hear that, get offended. Why are people, intelligent people, praying and meditating? And I wonder, how do we respond to them when they say that?
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I mean, I don't know what to say, but I mean, whether you pray or meditate, I've tried to meditate, that doesn't work for me.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, as a youngster at a Catholic school in South Africa, you were forced to go to church Thursday, Sundays, not forced, but your parents, they want the best for you.
Mm-hmm.
And I look at my daughter now. I've got two daughters, 21, studying in New York, and one 9. And they don't want to go to church. They want nothing to do with it. But I got them baptized. That's the best I could do.
Yeah.
They're not interested in First Holy Communion or confirmation. But I've learned, don't pressurize kids. Don't force them to hate church, Christianity, Buddhism, or whatever you want to call it. I mean, that to me is wrong. That's why maybe I don't go to church.
Mm-hmm.
Because as a youngster, I was forced to go.
Yeah, it's interesting. I'm always reminded that you're not going to church for anyone other than for yourself. But if while you're sharing, you don't feel that fellowship, you don't feel that warmth, welcome, that invitation, if it becomes more of a chore, or a forced habit, or a place where that it's not welcoming, maybe it's something to do with the way the institution presents itself.
I agree with you totally. No, I totally agree with you.
But we are, man.
No, I just thought I'd give you a call. You sounded a little bit.
Thank you. Yeah, man. Thank you. You lift my spirits all the same. All right.
No. I've heard all the nonsense with Miss K Man, but we're not going to get into that.
No.
Let's look to the future, happy days.
There it is, man. Be positive and productive, optimistic, and we'll find a way forward together. All right.
Sterling, I love you, and you're doing an excellent job, my brother.
My brother, thanks for the encouragement. Always good to have a voice that resonates, that reminds you to be positive and, grateful. So thank you very much.
Okay.
All right. Blessings to you. Respect. All right. All right. Our guest is here. Well, let me ask my good friend with respect. Let's just pause and allow her to be assembled. When we come back, we welcome Ms. Catherine Tyson. Stay tuned for Talk Today.
For medical lab services in Cayman, go straight to MedLab.
For a full range of medical services, pleasant, clean and comfortable environment, no long lines and affordable fees, visit MedLab at the Smith Road Plaza. Open Monday to Friday, 8:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. and half day on Saturdays. Call 949-7331 to make your appointment.
For medical lab services in Cayman, MedLab.
Ask our professional team about the benefits of cutting-edge technology with MedLab's new state-of-the-art digital mammogram machine.
The offices of dermatologist Dr. Wayne Porter will be taking appointments from September 1st till September 8th at his Crew Road Clinic. Appointment slots are limited. Whether you're seeking advanced skin care, Botox, filler, cosmetic skin enhancements, or simply looking to reduce wrinkles, Dr. Porter offers a full-service dermatology and dermatological surgery practice. For more information, email dr.porterkman@gmail.com or call 946-9020 to book your appointments today. That is 946-9020.
Did you know that ValueMed Pharmacy has a free online prescription service? Managing your health and medical requirements has never been easier with ValueMed. Simply visit value-medpharmacy.com. That's VALU-medpharmacy.com and click the Refill Prescriptions tab on our website. Fill in the information for new prescriptions or refills and choose your preferred pickup location. ValueMed on Walkers Road or Boddentown. Then bring in your original prescription from your doctor when picking up. There's no need to stand in line and wait for your prescription. Save time and pick up prescriptions at your convenience by visiting value-medpharmacy.com. That's VALU-med.com.
Celebrate home with Tomlinson Furniture 47th Anniversary Sale. Save 25% store-wide now through September 3rd on nearly everything. Living room to bedroom furniture, dining tables and sets, home office, desks and chairs, decor, mattresses and more. Register to win a $500 gift card with each purchase. Also, receive a free gift with every purchase of over $100. Shop and save store-wide during Tomlinson Furniture's 47th Anniversary Sale. Come by and visit our showroom on the first and second floor of the Tomlinson Building, corner of Hospital and Walkers Road.
As the community continues to take precautions from COVID-19, it is important to stay prepared for other disasters now that we're in the hurricane season. Here are some post-hurricane safety tips from the Department of Environmental Health. Cistern water designated for the purposes of drinking, cooking, and bathing must be disinfected before use after a hurricane. Simply leave the water for 1 minute after it begins to boil, or to disinfect with bleach, add 3 ounces of chlorine bleach to every 1,000 gallons of water. A residual bleach smell is an indicator that the water has been properly disinfected. For full guidance on post-hurricane safety tips, visit www.deh.gov.ky.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome back, and thanks for joining us. Thanks to Scott Tyson for coming to the studio, sitting with us, and get a chance to share and hopefully, not just be informed, engaged, but positioned in such a way that we make it that much better. Good to see you, man. Been too long that you have been sitting here with us, and just been too long.
Yeah, absolutely. It's always good to come home. It feels like home, just coming into a government facility, and especially Radio Cayman,
Yep.
The voice of the people.
The voice of the Cayman Islands. Radio
Cayman. When you listen to Radio Cayman, you know what they're talking about. It's going to be like
that's the thing.
Edifying.
We try to make sure that we are not only accurate, timely, but we present it in a way that is credible and competent, and give people a chance to appreciate that it's a community thing, not unlike your endeavors with the Savannah and Newlands community, and coming together, and that's what makes the society. I was sharing at the outset, and I was sort of dancing around it. Someone has sent a message yesterday following a discussion of what is happening in the Cayman.
Right.
And one of the things is that as a community, we're becoming more and more disconnected, almost like silos. We play sports, and I use the word as a homogenous community.
Right.
Nice euphemism, right? It's no longer where people are playing a sport because they like the sport and everybody's coming to play. It's just this group of people who look, sound alike playing this sport. Even then, we're being polite, not speaking to the issue, but you know what? That may be a discussion to have you on, and that intellect of yours give us that insight. But it's good to see the community being out. I'm very, very grateful to the stalwarts within the West Bay community in the recent months who are having almost twice a month on a Saturdays a cleanup, just going around the district. And it shows you take ownership. The sad thing is you clean it up, and by sunset, it doesn't look like anybody was there. And by the next go around, was it a hurricane that blew through here?
Yeah.
And it's sad.
Yeah. Sad. I mean, I think in that situation, we have to all take responsibility as community members. So if we're utilizing, something that is available for all of us to partake of, that we are responsible to throw away our trash and to just recognize that there's this amazing facility that you get to use, and not leave it a mess. Because I always tell my little children that when they would throw things down on the ground. I say, so who can pick that up? Like literally,
a
candy paper. No, I mean, just even outside. Like, I remember my son did something in the yard. He just threw it on the ground. I was like, well, who can pick that up?
Yeah.
Like, we're not doing that. Go and let's find a garbage, So.
But see, that's the training and the example that we set. And I think we know that. I'm questioning whether some of us are just begrudgeful, spiteful, malicious.
Right.
Is this something we're doing because we're offended by something? So this is our way to, you know what, I can make them have it. And we toss the soda can or the beer bottle or the cigarette butt or whatever. And it isn't that they're nasty, as the Honourable Tourism Minister had said. It's probably that too. But I'm wondering if it's just an act of, protest.
Like a rebellion?
I'm wondering.
Well, here's the thing. When you do that, you're doing it to yourself.
But that's the thing. I mean, who would slap themselves while looking in the mirror? Unless you're trying to wake up,
So you're not getting back at anyone. You're getting back at yourself. I mean, this is your country, Yeah. Just like when people say Caymanians are this and that, like the first thing I want to say is no, absolutely not.
Mm-hmm.
Like you cannot just pigeonhole us, So I think opportunities for us to get together as a community and utilize some of our resources and be smarter, like they say, work smarter, not harder. So with this particular initiative, we're talking about a car boot sale or a community yard sale. And I know for me, things like that were great resources for me as a single mother, at the time with my little kids. I lived at Ocean Club for a couple of years, rented there, and they used to have this community yard sale, and it helped me like so many times to, get out there and sell a couple of things, and I was able to, pay some bills,
But we all have so much stuff that we don't use. Right?
Yeah.
I appreciate you sending me the flyer. I know it says Community Creates Country.
Right.
And your thing may be used, but it's new to somebody else, right?
Absolutely. New to you.
It's new to you.
Yeah.
Right? Think about it. And why not?
Yep.
If you want to donate to where the cause is, fine. But why not, have a little sale and you get yourself an extra couple of bucks?
Of course. Yeah. I mean, there was one time that I had a yard sale, and my helper at the time, who was like my partner, she was my partner in crime. She was just like partnering with me to help my help raise my children and take care of my home. And she was like a sister, let me tell you. And whenever we'd have our little yard sales and stuff, she would be like, say we were offering $5 for this pants or something, and she knew that I might have spent $40 on the pants, and she's like, no, we're going to sell it for $5. And when somebody come in and say, can you take a few dollars off, she'd get mad. So one day I'm like, listen, here's the thing, we have all of these things. If we sold them for $1, if we sold every item for $1 here, we'd go home with $300. Can you let us try to get $300 today? Give us
the value too, right? Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah, I get your point.
That's what I'm saying. So, so this is what the Savannah Newlands Community Group, which is SAVNU, it is my community that I reside in, and they're having a car boot sale. And it's going to be at the Playfield Park on Pedro Castle Road. And it's it's this Saturday. This Saturday coming. So it's Saturday the 27th of August, and it's starting from 6 a.m. for you early birds. And please pass it on, and it goes until noon. And it's that park that's right across the street from the Baptist Church. And that park is available for anybody to, do events and stuff like that. I didn't even know that. So I'm learning a lot about it, being a part of this community. And so we will have a car boot sale, yard sale. There'll be some tables with stuff. People might be selling from the boot of their vehicles, the trunk. Yeah. And so...
Clarify that from a boot.
Yeah, from that. So, I think that's more of a British term. So it's like your car trunk sale, if you want to call it down like Caymanian, that's fine. But also, we're hoping to try to do it maybe once a month. This is our first one, so we'll see. But it is, it is a great opportunity if you're on a budget also, you're looking for, some children clothes or children's shoes. Your children are growing like weeds, so there's going to be like items. Nothing is going to be over $5 apparently. So it's kind of a rule. So children and adult clothes will be on sale. Lots of shoes, toys, handbags, ladies, household items, books. If you're an avid reader, you can get out there. Might get a book for $1 or 50 cents. Stove top, kayak, plants. There'll be lots of plants on sale, which is great. And fresh fruit and vegetables, which is going to be amazing. So it's going to be good. We'll have some food items on sale as well. So if you want to come out and just enjoy the park with your children, you can join us for the fundraising event. We're going to have patties on sale, snacks, juices, water, coffee too for, in the morning.
Yeah,
so don't
6
worry.
a.m.
Don't worry if you miss your coffee. There'll be some out there. And all the proceeds that are collected will go towards the park improvements. So the vendors that are selling, that's going to be their money, but they paid to have a space there. So so if you're interested in having a space next time, you can also let us know. We're looking forward to having an enjoyable morning. The sun is not quite out yet at 6 a.m. I mean,
so cool.
Listen, it got to be something for me to get up to be somewhere at 6 o'clock. So trust me, that's not what I be trying to do on a Saturday morning. I be trying to sleep, But if you have any questions or you're interested, in finding out a little bit more, I mean, you can call. I'm gonna get this number right. You can actually call Miss Harlan, and her number is 916-3065, 916-3065, and you can also call me at 939-2223 if you wanted some more information. But basically, this coming Saturday morning from 6 to 12, 6 a.m., that is, not afternoon.
Yeah.
At
I might make that one.
Huh?
I might make it this afternoon.
Yeah, I know, right? At the park. It's going to be a huge garage sale, a car trunk, as Sterling, he understands that better, car trunk sale with fresh fruit, fresh vegetables, plants, household items, children's shoes and clothes and adult clothes. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be great. I love it. It's like a rummage sale. I love that. I mean, like I really, attribute rummaging and getting stuff like this that really helped my journey, raising 3 little kids, because trust me, if you're on a budget, and I noticed that we have to really talk to our people a lot more about that. If you're on a budget, don't run out and spend your last dollar on the latest gadget or clothing or shoes. Like, you can't do that. Like, be a part of your community and see if you can trade items, if you can, go to things like this. And you know what I mean? Because I think sometimes we're so proud. But look, I mean, we got to figure out, we got to be greener too. This is green stuff, right? Go green. Yeah. So we're just kind of recycling stuff.
But it's interesting, right? I mean, we call it vintage, depending how we position it. And I'm thinking I know it's thrift shops. Maybe there's a different name.
Right.
And certain parts of the states, these things are, how should I put it, positioned in such a way that is almost like a rite of passage. They have this particular area of attraction.
Yeah.
And people go through there and they find things. And it's not just as inexpensive. They find some, wonderful little...
Right. Yeah. I mean, someone's calling me now. If you call me now, I'm on the radio.
You should answer it and say, you got lunch? Okay, so she's on the radio.
Oh, you're back.
But leave a message and she'll get back to you shortly.
Right. But definitely, it is kind of, I think, like a rite of passage for you to really, kind of, get it, that you can reach out for help, like all hands holding each other, and like I said, I would be walking with my Bess and Klein jacket that cost me $5 from a thrift store. You know what I mean? And it was, no one could tell me anything like that. That probably was $100 jacket at one point, but I got it for $5, you know? And so I used to be like a thrift store snob, you know, like,
Wow.
you paid $200, but I paid $5 for this. And I look like $1 million, you know? So
Well, you would make anything look good.
you
so.
sound like my daughter. My daughter's like, Mommy, you can rock anything. No,
See-
that would look
see-
terrible on me, but look at you.
See, she said, but it's true. Some people can do that, you know.
I don't know. Yeah, I guess
mean,
so.
Look at those ripped jeans, you know. Back in the day, your parents put them on. They would take the rags off.
Right.
You know,
And now
it's
now your parents are wearing them.
no.
I saw a couple of parents wearing them.
No.
And I felt like saying no too, but
No.
they were doing it.
If you see my jeans ripped, I'd probably be chased over the barbed fence.
Yeah,
That's it.
try help because something wrong.
Yeah. No, it's, you know, some people can pull it off. You could pull it off. Right?
Yeah, I don't like ripped jeans.
No,
but
no, no.
I,
To me,
there's
that's
some styles.
the rags.
that
No.
Yeah, but you know, it really is just an opportunity. So this whole thing that we decided to do is an opportunity to come together as a community, which is great. But also because Cayman is so small, all the larger communities are part of the community.
Exactly.
So we want everybody to come out, you know, and kind of fellowship together, you know, and like I said, we want to plan it, you know, for each month, but we'll see what, you know, what it looks like.
Right.
But for sure, you know, the Savnu community group with Miss Heather Bodden and Miss Harlan, her sister, and you know, quite a few really, like you said, stalwart, you know, members of the community that really just ensure that our community is safe, that our community is trying to communicate with each other. Yes, that you know the needs of your community. And especially, you know, I want to say, if you are a part of the Savannah Newlands community, you know, definitely don't be suffering alone. You know, like if you have a problem, you know, reach out so that we can see, you know, if someone else has that problem and how we can provide a resource.
Touch somebody's hand.
Yeah. Exactly. But it's true. Like, how else will we know the things that we're supposed to do as a community if we're not in contact?
Let me ask, the vendors that are there, as you said, you know, they can get a space and then in the future. But for this Saturday, today is still a few days away, are there spaces available for prospective vendors?
Well, no. So the hard answer is no. But, you know, social worker in me says,
I'll find it.
Yeah, like, you know, if you really wanted, you know, a space, you know, you can kind of talk to us. But, the space is filled up pretty quick. People got full houses and they want to get some of that stuff out because, you know, that stuff weighs you down sometimes when you have it, and you've had it for years. You haven't looked at it for years. I have books from the time I moved in, which is almost done. Over 15 years, put it that way. And I've not looked at those books in 15 years. So I think they needed to get the dust off of them and find a new home somewhere else. And, you know, people will love my cherished items that I just could not part with, but now I need space, you know? So that's really what it is. So it's this Saturday, August 27th. It is starting from 6 a.m. So if you go there 5 a.m., you're going to have to wait because we come on, give us a break, you know? Because that's what I would have if I had a yard sale. People knocking on my bedroom door at 5 o'clock. I have to go to work at 6, so I wanted to come up. It's like, I'm not even up yet.
You see, I'm still in my house coat. Give me a minute.
They didn't care, So it's starting 6 a.m. and it's going to go until 12. And we will be selling children's clothes and shoes and different items. You know, if you need a stroller, maybe you want to come out and see what's there. Adult clothes and stuff. Nothing will be over $5, which I love that. I bought a office chair from a yard sale 1 year. I don't even want to say who it was because it was somebody that everybody would know, and she was selling this, and I was like, how much is this? She said $10. And I got that office chair, and I still have that to this day, and that has been well over 10 years. A $10 office chair that she probably paid $150 or whatever.
If not more.
Yeah, and I mean it's in my house, you know, that kind of way. So $10 for an office chair? Like, no, come on, you can't lose.
You'll be surprised at the good things that you can find. You know.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So we're inviting everybody to come out, and you've written down the numbers there. So we can definitely want to share this day at the park. And bring the kiddies out also.
I was going to say, it's outdoors. I love the park. I that setting, I like it. I really do. And the Savannah Units community, I think it's just fantastic.
Yeah.
That's right there. Start of the morning, it's going to be nice, man.
Yeah. And the only reason that they kind of sent me on the radio is because they all don't like being on the radio.
Well, if you
I was like, no, it's like
they know.
Second home.
Yeah, exactly. They know you got this covered.
Yeah.
And it's good. And that's where everybody has a talent. Everybody can contribute. Make the heavy lifting much later because we all putting our shoulders to it. You, with a question, take away from your very pressing engagements and present.
Absolutely. Very pressing. My day is so full today. I was trying to get in here and the traffic was hurting me, and then the rain started, and it was a whole lot of stuff. I came from a chiropractor too.
And our chairs, we pay more $10, but they're probably not comfortable.
You need some better chairs, I can tell you right now. The cushion not soft. Sorry to scandal you, but
and you'll only be a couple more seconds, so you can imagine you sitting there for longer.
Poor you.
No.
That means you're young. You got a younger back than mine.
Strong back, baby. All good.
That's good.
All good.
That's good.
But I'm glad that you came in, and I'm hoping that, as you shared, it's not just for the community, but the wider community. So you coming from the other districts, you coming from Georgetown and West Bay, you can just pool in and stop, spend an hour, get some food, but get some plants. Find that thing that you might just not expect and be a great find.
Yeah, pick up the spare change around the house and come out. You're going to be able to find something because it's nothing over $5. That means that you might have stuff for 50 cents, $1, $2, and you go home with maybe a
Christmas shopping
nice outfit for $5. Like, who can beat that?
I should come shopping.
I might be selling my $5 Anne Klein jacket for $5.
For $5? See?
It's still in working condition. It just can't fit me no more. Gain a little weight. You know how age gives you a little weight.
That's one of the things,
Yeah. You don't even have to do anything different, but that weight is good. It finds places and stays there.
Friends say he lost some weight, but they found it back with
a
vengeance.
You can't run away from it. It will find you.
All right.
Well, I'm ice cream cone.
if you're inclined, whether you're wearing your incline or not,
right?
Maybe next week, a phone call. Just give us a heads up and say, it was a resounding success.
How it went? Okay.
That would be only if you can. I mean,
Sounds
it'd be nice
good.
because I think the community comes out. We get something that we can take away, but you also contribute, not just the vendors who are there, selling their wares and making an income, but the proceeds helps to improve the park, which improves the community.
Yeah.
And
I'll definitely let you know. I'll definitely let you know because, I would be rested by then because I got to sleep out. That's 6 o'clock in the morning thing, so, goodness gracious. Yeah.
We know you're young. So
kudos to the young people that are in the rat race these days. Yay.
It's not an unfortunate terminology.
Yeah.
If it's a rat race, what does that make you, right?
I'm a rat getting some cheese. And we got a lot of cheese. You can find all the cheese. Don't think that the cheese
who moved your cheese?
Has run out. No one. Did you ever read that book?
Yeah.
Who moved it? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Who moved your cheese? That's why I come with a cheese slicer.
Yeah, exactly. I'm going to get a piece of cheese. Sorry.
Yep. And it's going to be that good. Anyway.
No, we go from yard sale to cheese to... All in the day's work of Sterling Duaney Banks and Talk Today. So please come out to the SAB new, community group yard sale, car boot, car trunk sale. It's going to be awesome. You're going to get something for yourself or your children, or you're just going to have fun, and that's not this coming Saturday, 6 a.m. until 12.
All right. Well, thank you very much for coming in, braving the weather.
Yes, thank you.
Elements out there are just...
Oh yeah, we're still punished in paradise. Stop it.
I'll be honest with you, man. I mean,
no, we're doing okay. There's a lot of people that are like, you better stop complaining. Yeah, the sun, sand, and sea,
and other stuff.
Yeah, lots of other stuff.
So, all sweets. I'm thinking.
Yeah, no chocolate.
Chocolate. There you go. All right,
I don't eat chocolate anymore. cholesterol.
Sorry,
Man.
with that, we're going to take a break. Let me,
Yeah,
wow.
find out what?
Serious?
I know, right?
Right now, you know what I want? Some dark chocolate and sea salt.
It's sad. It's sad.
All right. You have a wonderful rest of your afternoon, Mom. And may this day be not just successful, but it's one way the community understands what we do together.
Exactly.
And to you, Miss Harley, Miss Heather, I think you guys do great. That's a very vibrant, dynamic community.
Yes, for sure. We're trying.
Yeah.
Very, very much so. They've done really well, and I'm glad to be a part of it now.
Well, each one adds value, and we make it safer in many ways. So, Saturday's going to be a success.
Yeah, thank you for having me on this afternoon.
It's a pleasure. All right, let's pause and take a break. You remember my guest, Dr. Alan Larson? He's going to come in and talk about sports medicine. Huh? I'm excited. He's a phenomenal individual. I really commend the HSA. I'm just hoping that we, as a community, value the resources that we have.
Yes.
The people like you who are always a social worker with a big heart,
right.
To the stalwarts in the wider communities, to our trained physicians. This is what makes this society such a beautiful place.
Yes.
So I'm excited to talk to him. Join us after the break.
Busy, busy, busy. Feel like there's not just enough hours in the day. Savannah Pharmacy, service to make your life easier. Now you can WhatsApp your prescription order to 929-5045. And pickup is just around the corner with everything your family needs and convenient opening hours including Sundays and holidays. WhatsApp your prescription order to 929-5045. Savannah Pharmacy, wholesome values with modern conveniences.
From boat days to beach gatherings, leave the catering to Subway. Choose from small and large sandwich platters, double meat wrap platters, and top it off with optional cookie platters for dessert. Or ask about our Subway box to go with the option of 6-inch or foot-long sandwich, 1 cookie, and 1 bag of chips. For all occasions and celebrations, let Subway focus on the food so you can focus on the fun. Visit subway.ky for catering options. Subway. Eat fresh.
The Family Resource Center has a limited number of spaces available for families that qualify for the comprehensive 13-week clinical program, SNAP, which stands for Stop Now and Plan. SNAP is a proven model that helps children with behavioral difficulties and their parents to learn how to effectively manage their emotions and keep their problems small. All families who have successfully completed the program submitted positive reviews. If your child is between the ages of 9 and 11 and experiencing issues at home, school, or in the community, please contact the Family Resource Center by August 23rd at frc@gov.ky or call them at 949-0006 and ask for Miles Ruby or Amber Calm.
Did you know that in the event of a hurricane, water designated for the purposes of drinking, cooking, and bathing must be disinfected before use? Water may be disinfected either by boiling or through the use of chlorine bleach. To disinfect through boiling, simply leave the water on the fire for 1 minute after it begins to boil. To disinfect with bleach, add 3 ounces of chlorine bleach to every 1,000 gallons of water. If you are not able to smell the bleach in the water after 30 minutes, then add half of the amount of bleach that was added during the initial application. Recheck the water after 15 minutes to ensure that there is a residual bleach smell. A residual bleach smell is an indicator that the water has been properly disinfected. For more post-hurricane safety tips, visit DEH website at deh.gov.ky.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back, and thanks for joining us. And we really want you to be a part of all of our discussions, but with great deference to all of our guests, even for the remainder of the week. Perhaps I could ask them to listen to this one, go back and re-listen to it. If they missed it, go on YouTube later and listen to it again, and tell a friend as we speak to Dr. Alan Larson. Now, my notes say that you're an orthopedic surgeon, but I was shared you're also a sports traumatologist. Now, tell me, what is that? Is that a person that causes trauma?
No. A sports traumatologist is normally, it will be an orthopedic surgeon who is specialized.
Yeah. No, man. And I try to, for me, I learn more through laughter. But knowing you, seeing your, it's kind of like Chef Emeril Lagasse once was in a restaurant, and he made a comment that I've heard him make before: never trust a skinny chef.
Exactly.
Right? I'm thinking, well, I'm not sure. But when you're a person that lives what you preach, by example, you show and demonstrate, it kind of makes it easier. You're not only a physician, but a sports enthusiast. And what you shared from the last time we spoke, but even previously, it makes you more confident when you talk to someone who knows what they're doing, and they can, by demonstration, say, listen, I'm evidence. I live it, I breathe it, I exhibit it. And that is commendable.
Thank you.
All right. Now, let's start at the outset. An orthopedic surgeon. For those who don't know, what is an orthopedic surgeon? When would we need one? Why would we see one?
Often in the A&E, you have let's say a traffic accident. You have a bone fracture, you have any kind of ligament rupture, you have a tendon rupture, you have any issue concern your joints and bones.
Right. And I'm glad you said that, because I was thinking it's usually at that occurrence that we meet an orthopedic surgeon. We've played a sport and we had an injury, or we come upon some mishap or the like, or maybe we neglected something that was niggling for a long time, and just unexpectedly during a normal routine movement, we injure ourselves. And then we come and we end up in the ER, presumably, and orthopedic surgeon is on call and someone, and next thing you know, the x-ray or the imaging shows something kind of late. So let's rewind that and see if there's a way maybe we can do some preventative stuff. All right. I know that HSA is going to be opening as a sports and exercise medicine clinic imminently.
Yes.
All right. What is that going to look like?
Well, it's going to look like we got a lot of people there.
Okay.
Which is going to be fun. So there'll be physiotherapists, there'll be nutritionists, there'll be pain management people, there'll be physicians, which are sports medicine people, and there'll be one sports traumatologist, which is me.
The handsome fellow with all the... And when we look at sports and we see injuries, what sort of sports injuries the clinic is going to be sort of catering to?
Well, any kind of sports injuries. Mostly, I'm a knee specialist, so what I'll be doing is mostly knee, ankle, feet, but any kind of sports injuries. The subject for is what I operate, but we'll be doing any kind of sports injury. Tons of sports injuries mostly are treated just conservatively by physiotherapy, exercise, whatever.
Yeah. And as I listen to what you share, I'm thinking back to some of the football clubs in Europe mostly. They have this phenomenal team of specialists catering to their athletes. You just need some that we have right here in a small population like this. We have a resource that we can draw on, whether you're a sports enthusiast, whether you're a budding athlete, or whether you're one of our national players. We can benefit from this.
Absolutely. We see a lot of national players already in HSA just with the orthopedic department, but now it's nice to have a specialized, because instead of referring to a physiotherapist where the patient is seen after a while, we've got a physiotherapist at the same day.
All right. Well, we're speaking to Dr. Alan Larson, and can we keep talking, my friend, or we need a pause? We can keep chatting? See the signal? All right. Thank you very much. We have like your colleagues at HSA, we have a phenomenal team here at Radio Cayman. The way that they accommodate us, and understanding that, having a chat to you about this with the sports and exercise management clinic that's coming on board. It launches this week, I gather.
It launches on Friday.
Wow, today's Tuesday, so that means
it's right on the corner.
What the teachers say? 3 more sleeps: Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
Exactly.
On Friday. Where is it going to be located?
On Smith Road, 2nd floor.
So, wow, a lot of the specialist services over there, and the pharmacy there as well.
Yeah,
just a walk down the street from me here.
Exactly.
All right. Now,
if you can walk, if you can't, I'll come and pick you up.
Thank you. That'd be good. And I started to allude to the importance of this to Cayman. You would expect this sort of offering to be in larger areas, metropolitan areas, bigger populations, more heavily financed. But we have this resource here. So how significant, how important would this offering be to the sort of the Cayman, boutique services that we'll be offering to the medical profession?
Well, if we compare to, for instance, in Denmark, where I was in one of the largest sports traumatology and sports medicine clinics at the university hospital, 95% of what we saw was ordinary people. They were active, but they had some overuse injury, they had some sports injury, and that would be what we treated. Would also be treated anyone going to the Olympics or the national teams within just about everything. World champions, European champions. So we would see the elite, which was a few percentage, and they were horrible to treat because whatever you told them, they'll do the double. They're pretty difficult to hold back because they're enthusiastic and they're professional. So there's money involved. Much easier is treating, let's say, 95% of the ordinary population, which just want to be active, but they're not properly informed or instructed. So they get overuse injuries. They're probably not prepared for, let's say, rugby, football, whatever. They're not properly prepared. So their muscular strength is not at a certain level when they compete, and they get ACL ruptures, whatever injuries.
Yeah.
So it's easier to treat those people because they do as you tell them.
Yeah. And that's the thing. It's kind of like someone who rides a motorcycle, but never learn to ride it properly, and giving them proper instruction. You have a professional instructor saying, if you do this, look, lean, and roll, for instance. You either look where you're going, or you're going where you're looking. You will make the ride not only safer, but more enjoyable. For that person learning to ride for the first time, you might be more inclined to take instruction. That person who's been riding for 30 years, but you've been riding it incorrectly. You got riding some bad habits.
Exactly.
How do you get that person now to correct the behavior?
Yeah. And then that's actually one of the things that the sports medicine people are good at. They can do some proper instructions. The physiotherapists can sort of give information about how do you not get those overuse injuries. Normally speaking, if you increase your loading by more than 10% per week, you get an overuse injury.
Huh.
So it's pretty easy to prevent it. But people in the beginning, if you say, if for instance, see people going to the gym, after 3 months, 24% is still going to the gym. But most people, they drop out because they get overuse injuries. They're not properly instructed. They haven't got the information how to start to do any kind of physical exercise.
Yeah. Technique is important. Getting the right form.
Yeah.
I'm thinking resistance training. We can comfortably lift 100 pounds.
Yeah.
But we're not lifting it correctly. Lifting 15 pounds might be better if you're doing it correctly.
Exactly.
No.
And the next day you're not lifting anything.
Yeah. So that overuse. Some of us will work out twice a day. Some will work out 6-7 times a week.
Yeah.
Rest and recovery is important.
Yeah. Nutrition, rest, and proper technique is important.
And I think we probably measure. I was in the gym for 5 hours today.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was only there for 5 minutes. But what did you get out of that 5 hours versus the 5 minutes?
Exactly.
So understand that. Would you, through the clinic, not only help with rehabilitation, but guidance so that the instruction, not as a personal trainer on the circuit, but hey, when you do this, make sure that you rest, you recover, but you also consider the impact of overuse.
Exactly, and that's why it's nice to have the full plate. We have nutritionists, we've got very good physiotherapists and sports medicine people, and they know about that stuff. So it's nice to instead of just being me doing conservative and operative treatment, it's nice to have the full load and the full information to offer to people.
Yeah, I'm thinking as just not just the athlete, but that very, very energetic, enthusiastic, sort of sports-minded individual who is out for frequent runs or who may be doing circuit training. Injuries happen, 20 ACL, for instance. Sometimes the knee starts to give an issue. Are we able to assist those people as well?
Definitely, and that would be the main group. That is normal people who are just simply trying to be active, but they didn't have the right setup.
Now, what about people who are, and we're speaking to Dr. Alan Larson over the HSA, and as a sports neurologist and an orthopedic surgeon, I'm thinking sometimes prevention is better than cure. We hear that often.
Definitely.
But we only end up coming to specialists like you when something has happened. And if we can get a personal trainer who knows if we can properly, execute technique, we could mitigate against the risk. But two things have come to mind as we're chatting. Repetitive injuries, that person who may be doing a lot of pull-ups or push-ups or playing a sport in that repetitive motion. Are those things that we can mitigate, perhaps even treat if it happens?
Well, that's exactly what we could treat because, for instance, today in my clinic, I had the physiotherapist that I work with, Christina Bramwell, where we went through, for instance, stabilization of a shoulder. We went through tons of patients. They're active in their sport, but they don't do anything to prevent injuries. If you had a bit of exercise where you sort of stabilize your shoulder, try to do anything not to get into that area where you actually have to stop doing your sport, but doing a little bit of effort, trying to prevent any kind of injuries is a good thing. It doesn't take long.
Yeah, but we got to be willing to listen.
Nope.
It's
nobody listens. For instance, in the older days, if you instructed people you have to do this exercise to prevent having your injury, they would go home, do it until they don't have pain anymore. Then they stop. And it's sort of an indication that if it hurts, well, then I'll listen. Well, if it doesn't hurt, I won't listen. Then I'll just continue doing it.
Why do we do that?
Well, we're comfortable people.
I'm not talking about anybody else, okay? I just
no. Well, yesterday I discussed a simple exercise. I'm related to some of the professional clubs in Denmark, and my former colleague was a national doctor within football. And there's a very simple exercise. We call it Nordic hamstrings. And years ago, any professional football club would do that exercise. They started with a minute a week, and then they build it up a few minutes a day. And it's a simple exercise. You're on your knees, and you just bend forward, which means that you increase the strength to your hamstrings. And hamstrings exercises, or hamstrings damages or injuries, was one of the most common reasons for taking out a football player for a couple of months. If you do that exercise to your hamstrings muscles, 74% of those injuries is prevented.
And this is something you shared the last time. I don't remember all the statistics, but I recall some of the things that we did when we had a good coach, and you didn't understand the importance, but you were able to put the science and the statistics behind it. And simple exercises, you think you're on your knees, right? You're bending forward, and without understanding how that can strengthen your hamstrings. There are little things that we do without even thinking, but once we understand why, we might be more inclined to do it properly, and do it consistently.
It's the same as brushing your teeth.
Yeah.
In the first couple of years, you haven't got a clue why you do it. You might not have that at the end of the game, but in between, there's certain exercises that we do, and by doing those exercises, we prevent a lot of ruptures, injuries, and so on.
If you feel led and inclined, I want to ask you, but I think more and more of us are starting to consider it is true. Our true wealth is in our health. We want to do. I start off by giving us an example. A particular, professional in the sector had shared long ago. He was at his desk 15 hours, it seems like some days, and not even remember to get up to go get some water or to use the bathroom, just at your desk because you got a paper to push and you got stuff to do. And I don't recall what transpired that got him to say, you know what, I'm going to start standing. Now, this was before standing up desk were a thing. People might know who I'm referring to. I'm not trying to embarrass him, but some people thought there was something wrong with him, that he was, but he decided he put his chair off to the side and he was going to stand. And he started to stretch his legs and he started to move. And 6-8 weeks, I think it was, he started to not only lose weight but feel better. And all he was doing wasn't sitting, and he was standing. And two things, I think, other than people saying, I think he's gone off, he's standing up in his office again, he's pacing, all right? One, people said, you're standing now, you're going to get, what was it, like veins in your legs, and it was going to be a problem.
Varicose veins,
yeah. And two, he not only lost weight, but he felt stronger.
Yeah.
Sounded like it didn't make sense, but back then, and this was a few decades ago, it made sense to him. So what else can we say to people that you're doing these things, you don't realize the potential negative consequence you're having on your body? We're seeing it now with young students, even in kindergarten, in primary school, where they get up, move around more, because you're sitting there and it's not good for your body. What can you tell us then from the simple exercise, little things that we're doing that doing us a negative impact on the health and we don't even realize it?
But you're fully right. We just sit most of the day, which is dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
And if, for instance, you say that if you mention that guy getting up and walking around, just by, let's say, for instance, we lift 30 kilos. I'm a kilo guy. But let's say 70 pounds. Between your disc, you got about, it's 1,200 kilos. So that'll be 2,500 pounds of pressure between your vertebrae, your bone and your back. Oh. So that means that if you just don't do anything, you need to stabilize your core. You need to do something, which means that if you sit like most of us sit, we just have a tendency to fall forward,
right?
And we don't straighten our back, so we don't keep that core muscles. Yeah. We're going to get any kind of trouble. And the varicose veins, as you mentioned before, just getting up, walking a bit around, you activate your muscles, you prevent those varicose veins.
Huh.
Sitting down, you just compress it. So we just need to move, and it's easy to get in between being active and just sitting at a desk.
Well, Dr. Larson, as you just shared, people they just see the vertebrae, there's the spine, and there's that pressure.
Yeah.
We don't realize that by sitting down, we're actually creating more tension, more pressure. By getting up, stretching, moving, we're moving ourselves around. We're getting not just blood flow, which is good for the circulation, but we're getting ourselves, our body motion is, stays in motion.
Yeah.
The same with the physical body. Wow. I want to ask after the break, if it's possible, people with, say, arthritis, for instance, people with scoliosis, for instance, and potentially we're hearing more and more, as you mentioned, athletes are thinking of stem cell therapy and those sorts of things. Could we talk about some of those things, whether
Absolutely.
they're on offer, how they would impact people and
Absolutely.
the like, and hopefully get people to appreciate that Cayman is a wonderful place. The more we contribute, the more we buy in, the more we support, the better the collective, sort of impact in a positive way for all of us. All right, we're going to pause. We're going to go to the news. All right, Mr. Fox? When we come back, the phone lines are available. 949-8037, 1-800-534-8255. See how good they are. Give us an extra 2 minutes. Oh, let's chat. Thanks, man. So arthritis. People with arthritis. Before we go to the break, we'll ask about any concerns. Well, one, if you got arthritis, can you still exercise, and what can we do for them?
It would be horrible if you don't exercise.
Worse if you don't.
Yeah, for heaven's sake.
Okay.
Most, for instance, in Denmark, any patient, for instance, offered a total knee replacement would be sent for the physio.
Okay.
And about one third will at least postpone for some years having that total knee replacement, because you build up muscles, you support your knee, so you take some of the loading to the joint, you take that into the muscles. So it's everybody who has. If you sit down and you're not loading your cartilage, your joints, well, then it degenerates. It needs to be loaded.
And I think this is where education and information helps us, and the more that we do something properly. You referenced the core strength. If we have a stronger core, our posture would be better. Not only when we're sitting, but when we're standing.
Yeah.
Our ability to move our body with a sense of purpose is improved. Just driving long distances or even sitting for extended periods is much better if we're, healthier, stronger with the core. I think back to the race car drivers, not just the elite football players, but they are sitting and driving, and you would think, well, what do they need to be strong? Well, that's the exact way.
Yeah.
All right. And then after the break, definitely want to ask more about stem cell therapy, whether it's available, what is it, why would we do it, if there are any concerns with it. Can we get into some of that?
Absolutely.
All right. Call a friend, and have them tune in and listen as we speak to Dr. Alan Larson. Always a pleasure. I learn every day something special. So stay tuned for Talk Today.
From district to district, moving through the waters to Cayman Brac and Little Cayman. Your station, your voice. All things Cayman. One radio, many people. This is home.
Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman. Your voice, your choice.
Local, regional, international. This is Headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
Today's biggest news.
With your latest headlines, I'm Felicia Rankin-Zollins. Public Health Department has announced that isolation requirements for unvaccinated individuals have been reduced for positive COVID-19 persons and their contacts effective Wednesday, August 24th, 2022. The new requirements mean vaccinated and unvaccinated COVID-19 positive persons will isolate for 6 days and leave isolation on day 7 as long as you have no symptoms. And vaccinated and unvaccinated contacts, persons who are primary contacts of COVID-19 positive persons, must conduct daily lateral flow testing for 6 days but may continue usual activities. In international news, 2 men accused of plotting to kidnap Michigan's Democratic governor have been found guilty on conspiracy charges. Prosecutors say Adam Fox and Barry Croft hoped to start a revolution by kidnapping Gretchen Whitmer in a 2020 plot. Their defense lawyers have characterized the duo as big talkers, disillusioned men angry at the government. This was the second trial for both men after a mistrial this spring. According to prosecutors, the defendants targeted Ms. Whitmer because of stringent COVID-19 restrictions she imposed early in the pandemic. Dogs can cry tears of joy when they are reunited with their owners, a small study has found. Canines may be genuinely thrilled when they see their human companions after a long period of absence, Japanese researchers have said. The tears are believed to deepen the bond between dogs and their owners. The study, based on the behavior of 22 dogs, looked at the reactions of dogs who were reunited with their owners and with other people they knew. These are your headlines. I'm Felicia Rankin-Zollins.
For the latest in news and information,
follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio Cayman app or log on to our website, radiocayman.gov.ky.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome back, and thanks for joining us. I've always enjoyed interacting with Dr. Alan Larson. It may be the bond over football, it may be the fact that you look like my younger handsome brother. I don't know which one.
Much younger.
Hey, just younger, okay. No, but it is good when we get a chance to learn from people who have not just the insight, the experience, but they want to share that knowledge. And I'm very, very grateful to the Health Services Authority for that. On Tuesdays, we get, when your schedules allow, different of your colleagues come in and we talk about different things from breastfeeding to nutrition, from the idea that we may be looking at, the need for some other service delivery. And it's not always just the things that are dire and daunting. This is exciting. And you've presented something that we should pursue after. Get more of the country. Quality of life is an active lifestyle. Being able to enjoy, whether you're 90 or you're 19, if you can do the thing. You ever seen people exercising where circuits and the person can do push-ups, incline, that the person can say, okay, I can watch you, but I can move a little. You do it and modify it that works for you. All right, so we were asking about this sort of arthritis. You said it's important to do it. What about scoliosis? Well, maybe at first I should ask, what is that?
Well, scoliosis is simply that everybody got a curve, an S curve to the spine.
Mm-hmm.
But if you got a more severe curve, we measure degrees, which is, let's say, it's 10 to 24 degrees, then it's a mild scoliosis. If it gets more severe, well, then we will consider surgery. But in the mild cases, which is 10 to 24 degrees, we simply just do physiotherapy. We can use a brace to stabilize it, but it will always be physiotherapy. It's about what's your posture. So we're trying to sort of give people pain relief just by having a muscular treatment by physiotherapist.
Maybe I'll ask if we know what causes it, but I'm more inclined to ask what we can do if we have it. But is there the cause for scoliosis?
Well, the cause is often genetic. So due to the genetic, you need to work on your core and you need to work on your muscular strength. And if you start using a brace, you're sort of saying, well, I'm not doing my exercises. Or most often is that you're sort of relying on your brace and not on your exercises.
Is it then that some people that may have an ailment, in their minds, a physical limitation, let's say scoliosis, for instance, they may in their mind say, well, I can't do this exercise, that's too hard, that's going to create an injury.
Well, it's so easy to have an excuse. Everybody likes excuses. But both you and I like to work out. I don't need an invitation to go to the gym. They have to lock the door to keep me out. So that's pretty easy. But it's just everybody should be active. And if you look at research, older days everybody was told you have to be active 30 minutes a day. That has totally changed. You have to be more active. So that means that I sort of, well, I don't beat them up, but I would like to if I see people taking the elevator. Yeah. Because you got to take any opportunity through your daily life where you can get active. Use the elevator if you have a fractured bone or whatever, but still use those stairs. Walk those steps that you can put into your daily program.
I kind of offended a fellow in a building the other day. I didn't mean to. It was only 3 flights of stairs, and I walked in and I was looking for the stairwell, and I couldn't get into it because apparently that's a security, some sort of security issue. You could not. I had to take the elevator to go up a couple of flights of stairs. Yeah, I thought, really? I mean, it's sad when we make it difficult for people for whom that might be the only little bit of steps they get in for the day. Yeah. Their little, sort of reprieve from the elevator shaft. Yeah. So scoliosis and the like, and that sort of thing. If we have that. Hopefully we get in the proper physio, we speaking to the orthopedic surgeon and the like. But we can exercise, and that would be good for us to strengthen the core if we're doing it properly. Less reliance on the brace.
100%, because the stronger the core you got, the less you need the brace. Right. Because the brace is not going to prevent it from being to a severe scoliosis. But on the contrary, if you don't have muscular strength, it's gonna increase the speed. Okay.
There's some who have the perception that, well, as you get older, so if you're 60, 70, 80, 90, it's too late to start. You need less physical activity and less muscle strengthening. Your thoughts on that?
That's pretty easy. We did a research study with 100-year-olds to see if we could prevent them from having a fall and having a fracture to their thigh bone. And we presented it. Those 100-year-olds, which had never done anything, after 8 weeks, we prevented more than 50% of those having a fall where they had a fracture. So you can start any time. Yeah. And it might not sound of much, but they increased their strength by 100% within those 8 weeks. So instead of falling, well, they didn't fall. They might still feel insecure on their legs, but they didn't have a fall. So if you can prevent 50% of those people, just even though they're 100 years old, from falling, just doing 8 weeks of muscular exercises. And it's nothing, like we spoke about in the break, where you said you like to have elderly people more active. In Denmark, we have anybody who's got a computer. They can use that computer. There's a physiotherapist doing over the computer exercises with them. It could be just raising yourself up from a chair. That means that suddenly you got the muscular strength to get away, to get around in your own home, and you don't feel insecure that you'll have a fall. You might lie in wait for anyone to come and any caregiver to pick you up after 6 hours. No, you feel secure. Yeah. So it's small exercises. Anyone can do it. They need a computer. They need a physiotherapist to do the exercises, and you could do it daily. Because logistics-wise, if you take them out of their homes 3 times a week, they're going to be spending 6 hours a day in traffic. That can't be good for anyone.
And this is where not only is the person getting more confidence, but they're gaining a sense of independence.
Exactly.
Right, and there are many of us who. We had a wonderful game of football. We took a nasty spill, and the next day we're sore. And just getting out of bed, off the chair, can be challenging for that person with that injury or that overworked, exerted sort of body for those few hours after the game. Yeah. But can you imagine someone who, has to rely on someone else? If you can regain that independence, that sense of confidence, you're creating for them a better quality of life.
That quality of life would be tremendous because it's not nice being dependent on anyone and waiting for the caregiver before you can go to the toilet, before you can get food, coffee, or whatever you want in the morning or going to bed. Well, you get independent just by doing a few exercises.
I observed something way back, and I wanted to ask you. I was trying to find, I'm sure there's a study of it, but I don't reference, so I'll ask you for guidance. Long ago, there was an expectant mother, and I only knew that she was expectant probably a few weeks into our exercise regimen. So we're part of a group fitness. And she was always, and the reason why I couldn't tell, because she was always up ahead. So from the angle I would see her, she did not look like anything other than an elite athlete. And then it was early in the morning. So one time I realized, whoa, yeah, she says I'm due, almost end of the day now, so to speak. And she was exercising now sensibly, safely. She had all the proper precautions and instruction, but she was exercising. She gave us, as a class, sort of the story. Someone has shared it with her. This was not, her first child, and had her recover after the birth, and everything was phenomenal. She credited it to her lifestyle, the exercise, proper sleep, rest, nutrition, and the like. And this was an expectant mother who were probably not that far from, giving birth, exercising, running, doing all sorts of things that some of us couldn't do. And she was doing it as if she was, running for the Olympic gold medal.
I fully agree, because there's been a lot of saying that you shouldn't be active when you're pregnant, but it's exactly as you name it. That is that you can be active until a few weeks before you give birth.
Yeah. I mean, just do things sensibly under the supervision of your physician and the like. But I'm also wondering then, if that person is healthy, athletic, and was to happen a mishap, chances are they could potentially recover, just like the expectant mother, much faster, much easier, much better.
And that's what they'll do. For instance, an anti-cruciate ligament reconstruction.
Yeah.
Everybody goes through 3 months of physiotherapy prior, because 40% don't need the surgery. They'll feel stable just by doing muscle exercises. But being in good shape, just having the surgery makes it 10 times easier after the surgery.
Right. Now, we're talking about athletes, but I'm just thinking of sort of lifestyles that we have. Many of us, our bags that we carry are heavy. Whether it's the construction bag, whether it's the working mother with everything in her bag, whether it's the repair person, the computer tech with all this stuff. We tend to put it on one side of our bodies, and it creates this thing in our shoulders or the neck area. Can we do something about those people? And what is that causes that? And what can we do about it?
Well, if you only sort of load one side of your body, let's take a tennis player. Tennis player's got a huge arm, but pretty strong, and the other arm is just a stick. For show. And that's just for show, or a stick. So they get tons of problems with the back, with the shoulders, everything, because they're not in a uniform loading. Of their body. So we need to compensate to that side which is not being affected. The same as construction workers, anyone who just uses one side at a time.
Saying that reminds me every day why I realize that my father is absolutely wise. We would be helping to do things, and he would, if it's cement blocks or if it's a gallon, he would take one in one hand and one in the other. And he would carry, twice as much. And he said it helps the balance. Over time, he explained, you want to make sure you give both. So the wheelbarrow, he's pushing it with both hands.
Yeah.
One cement block in one hand and one in the other. Well, in his case, I think he had 15 in one hand and 15 in the other.
Exactly.
I was struggling with one each.
Yeah, of course.
But that's what he was doing, right? To make sure that made sense, And maybe he knew what he was doing and understood why, or maybe he was just following a practice that he knew to be wise. And you see those other seafarers, most times, because of the lifestyle that they had, remain active fairly much. But now, I guess we're discouraging that, and they get older, they get less erect as it is. They start to have that bend in them. We need to fix that.
We're going to fix it.
All right, the sports and exercise, medicine clinic will give us that. How do we access the clinic? Is it? Do you need to get referrals, make appointments?
You just call the clinic, and there's no referrals. Anyone can call and get in there.
And that's one of the things that I think the HSA is seemingly doing more and more. medicine at one time had this series of layers, almost like a government bureaucracy, where to get from one level to the next, we call it referrals, but it just seems to be ladders. Now it seems that we have more direct access, more immediate access, relatively speaking. Certainly, excellent professional competencies, that is unquestioned. All right, when we come back from the break, I didn't forget about the stem cell therapy. Could we ask you about that?
Definitely.
All right. And who would be eligible, and can it make you taller and more handsome? Because I mean,
well, you can be 7 feet within before 9 o'clock.
All right, I'll settle for 5'6". Okay. We're gonna pause to take that break. When we come back, Dr. Alan Larson will continue. We're gonna ask him about stem cell therapy. Please join us after the break. Stay tuned for Talk Today.
For medical lab services in Cayman, go straight to MedLab.
For a full range of medical services, pleasant, clean and comfortable environment, no long lines and affordable fees, visit MedLab at the Smith Road Plaza. Open Monday to Friday, 8:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. and half day on Saturdays. Call 949-7331 to make your appointment.
For medical lab services in Cayman, MedLab.
Ask our professional team about the benefits of cutting-edge technology with MedLab's new state-of-the-art digital mammogram machine.
A caring and community spirit, cherished family and cultural values. These are some of the things that still embodies the Caymanian way of life in the Eastern Districts today. Savannah Pharmacy, your neighborhood pharmacy, located in Countryside Shopping Village, is delighted to offer products and services of real value. Whether it's catering to your family's medical needs or carrying apparel, gifts, and beauty products, Savannah Pharmacy provides you with more than just prescriptions. Remember, they're always just around the corner with everything your family needs and convenient opening hours, including Sundays and holidays. Savannah Pharmacy. For more information, call 946-3336.
Breitling watches are defined by quality, innovation, and style, and you have the chance to win one in August during Kirk Freeport's 50th anniversary sweepstakes. Each month, lucky shoppers have the chance to win a piece of jewelry or a watch from luxury brands. Every purchase of $100 at any Kirk Freeport store gains you entry into the monthly drawing, so stop in today. Next up, September's prize is the Chopard Happy Dreams bracelet. View terms and conditions on KirkFreeport.com.
Your Radio Cayman 6 p.m. news, Monday through Friday, is brought to you by Logic. Your life connected.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Weights, everything.
All right. We're speaking to Dr. Alan Larson, and if you have not met the gentleman, if you haven't had the good fortune, I can't refer you to him, but I can refer you that he'll be an excellent resource. Dr. Larson, is always a pleasure. Just during the break, those few seconds, you've given me not just great optimism, but insight into much. We increasingly in society start to appreciate that the quality of life is important. We want an active, healthy lifestyle. We're hopefully being very respectful to our populace and to our elderly in particular. We even label them the active age and the like. But all of us need to be healthy and can be active irrespective of our age. It's never too late to start.
Never too late to start.
All right. You know what? Something's going to transpire that's going to be very positive, because at the end of the day, a song that comes to mind, you spend all our time making money and all our money, trying to find our health. It doesn't, it's not good for us, right?
Nope.
All right. I was asking about stem cell therapy. We see celebrities or the big elite athletes pursuing it and the like. And I want to ask about it. What is it? Well, first off, what is stem cell therapy? How does it work? When is it something that we consider? Should we consider it? What are the consequences if we do it?
Well, at the University Hospital in Denmark, where I was head of our research division within cartilage, we use stem cells to create new cartilage. We could do minor area of cartilage, but we didn't have the right sponge, the right platform to put it in. So within cartilage, it's used, but what we mostly do is that we activate stem cells just by just by activating the stem cells which is in the bone. That's an old technique. We've sort of developed it a bit. I've done a lot of research on goats where we have created sponges with stem cell activation, new grown cells into it. So it's an area which is developing, but it's developing quite slow. For instance, if you take a guy like McCready, he invented drilling small holes into bones in '59. 40 years later, Stedman, an American, he said, "Oh, we might be able to bicycle a bit while we do that drilling into the bone." So bicycling afterwards, that was sort of the only thing in 40 years. There's been a lot of new developments where we activated stem cells, we generated new areas within the cartilage, but it takes a lot of time. If you compare it, for instance, to HSA, we got PRP. PRP is where you take out blood. You take the growth factors or the progenitor, the cells, to inject into, let's say, it could be an golf elbow, it could be osteoarthritis, minor, moderate osteoarthritis into a knee joint. So there are different areas where we work with it.
And that would speed not just recovery and healing, but then perhaps aid in maybe less injuries going forward.
Come again?
If we either through the PRP or the stem cell, it'll aid recovery and healing, but then it would put new growth in there, sort of renew it.
It sort of speeds up the recovery time.
Yeah, and when we think of it, it's the traditional mindsets that many of us, even as patients, may have. Go back to people who would go to the physician, have a particular surgery, and that was months and months of recovery, through orthopedic, and we can see less and less hospitalizations, extended stays, but then the patient has to be familiar with it, be willing to have that conversation with the physician. What are the available options? That's at that stage. But let's get to prevention. So through your clinic, could we not only be treating the injured, but come in for consults for preventative measures to aid our exercise? We want to start up a new routine, but we've been sedentary for the last 2 decades. I don't think we should go running in the marathons tomorrow, but let's start somewhere.
That would be a great idea, because then you get the right instruction, you start at the right level, and you increase your loading as you're supposed to be. You're not just increasing it too fast and get any kind of overuse injuries or ruptures or sprains.
You referenced resistance training, and I saw a statistic, I think it was 70%, but it was quite high amongst women who incorporated resistance training. It reduced the incidence of osteoporosis in them. That seems significant.
Well, it's very significant if you look at osteoporosis, but men get osteoporosis as well. 35% of men get osteoporosis, but 60% of any 60-year-old women got osteoporosis. So you have to load your body, and that means that you can swim, or you can bicycle to some extent. It's going to give you a little bit, but for instance, swimming, everybody would like to just swim, but you weigh 1.7 in water. You're not having enough resistance, so you need to either walk, you need to run, jog. You need to activate your body by doing body exercise, just to load it.
All right.
So the bones need to be activated.
And using your own body weight, taking planks, push-ups, pull-ups.
That is plenty.
Yeah, doing those things, sadly, many of us discovered after or during Hurricane Ivan that we wanted to pull ourselves up to a high elevation, maybe on a countertop or up on the table or somewhere, and we couldn't, even though we thought, we're not overweight, we're not unhealthy, but in that moment they were struggling to pull up their own body weight.
There's a lot of people, they're not able to lift themselves once.
Yeah.
And that, if you've got a shark underneath you and Ivan is after you better pull yourself up.
Yeah, and this is part of the excitement in chatting with you, that I want us to get to a place where we understand that this is a measure of our health. Think of the person who's going to go on a vacation and they'll be on an airplane for 9 or 11 hours, or they're going to be sitting either as a passenger or driving, or whether it's on a train. That extended period of time in that position, would be much more pleasant if they're in a better shape physically. That's just sitting down.
Yeah.
You imagine if they're now going to be active in playing a game of some sport, as a social with another family. We got to get there.
Yeah, but just doing minor exercises while being on a plane, on a train or whatever, it doesn't take much. Just let's say you do preventive exercises, just not to have blood clots. It's a simple thing, but there's a lot of small things you can do just sitting there.
Okay, help us then, because that would work in our offices as well, or at our desk, even as children. I think many of us, as we're talking, we're not talking about the adult, the child as well. We're stationary too much. What sort of things we can do on that long train ride, plane ride, at our desk all day that we can help our bodies?
Simply just doing muscle contractions, or you can lift yourself in the seat, just trying to hold it there. It's going to get good thigh exercises. it's minor things. Or there's tons of exercises you can do just sitting there. And then it's pretty easy, but it's just resistance. If you want to sort of hold just your hand back and flex your biceps, well, that's plenty. It might not sort of impress the lady sitting next to you, but you got to do what you got to do with what you got.
Yeah. So even just pushing your one hand against the other,
exactly, and just holding one hand back and flexing and extending. Well, then you already used two major muscles in your upper extremity. Yeah. So it's not difficult. It's just getting the idea, and it's more cozy seeing the movie and eating the chips. And getting the flight attendants. So it's just doing small exercises.
Yeah. Make sure that the body gets the movement it needs. Keep, as you were saying, I'm thinking, we just bought a favorite beverage. We had it sitting on the desk or in the cooler. When we take it up, what we do, we shake it up sometimes just to make sure it gets mixed properly, right?
Yeah.
Why not do the same with the body? Just move it around, give the body some little bit of movement, some muscle resistance.
Just as you said, those 3 steps up those stairs. Well, those 3 steps is important, because that's the challenge you get that day in the airplane, in the train, or whatever you're doing, just being in a car. Well, you can do any kind of exercise. It's just persuading yourself to do it.
I think I make the correlation between, we understand the importance of keeping the mind active, playing certain games, doing the word searches and the puzzles. That'll help to engage the mind, and we're told it stays off dementia, Alzheimer's. It keeps the brain active and the mind sharp. Well, keeping the body physically fit. You don't need to be Arnold Schwarzenegger, all right? You can be a Dr. Larson. Even better.
That'll be plenty. but it's simply just getting the mindset that you want to be active. If, for instance, you look at from your 25 until and per year you use 1% of your body mass, your muscle. So and if you're active, you're lifting pretty heavy weights. You reduce that to 0.5%.
Wow.
So you can keep a lot of your muscular strength in elderly age, or when you grow older. So you got tons of possibilities to keep that strength.
Yeah.
I work out with heavy weights every day, and it's just nice to be able to in daily life doing whatever physical challenges you get, and it's easy peasy.
Well, I'm glad that you reminded us, and as you shared that, I'm thinking also, we don't realize that we were probably active at 25, now we're at 50, and over the last, whether it was 25 years, 15 years, or 10 years, we become less active. Yeah. We're not able to do what we were doing when we were. It may take us a while to get back, but if we don't start, what is the struggling to do a push-up now? In a few months or a few years, it will have to stop you. You're doing it constantly if you get active in doing it properly. We just need to start.
Agree.
I'm excited for this wonderful new offering at the Sports and Exercise Medicine Clinic on Friday that HSA is going to launch in the Smith Road Medical Plaza. And hopefully, as we get through more and more, we see what the offering is for our community. Any closing words, Dr. Larson, you may want to leave with our listeners?
No, just we're excited, every one of us, to start up the new sports clinic. It was postponed due to COVID, so we spoke about it last time you and I spoke, and it's finally happening. So it will be great having this this full team of people doing all the good things.
And if we as a populace are healthy in mind, body, and spirit, we will find much more enjoyment and a better quality of life. And it doesn't matter if you're 15 or 51, whether you're 19 or 91. You can be active. You can start. It's never too late. Just be sensible. Consult your physician. Know your health. But just because you're not able to run that marathon doesn't mean that one day you might not.
Well, you can run in front of the TV.
Yeah, there's so much you can do.
And run back to the kitchen, but don't eat there. I had a professor at one of the meetings I had in Denmark. He said within 20 seconds you can do more damage with a fork than you can do being active.
It is true. I think we've all learned that, huh?
Yep.
And this is why once we see, this is what I said at the outset. Through you, you live what you preach. You're active. You understand why you do it, but then you demonstrate. Just like the coach who can show you, and can do it. All right. We're going to talk again another time, Dr. Larson.
Yes, please. It was great being here. Thank you.
Well, to our listeners, this is why the HSA to me is just increasingly offering some great things, and have a chat and see whether the sports and exercise medicine clinic will be for you, whether you're a needed athlete, whether you're a sports enthusiast, or you're just someone who, like the rest of us, you need to get active, want to improve the quality of life. Through the physicians there, nutritionists and the physiotherapists, we can benefit greatly in our health and wellness. All right, tomorrow, I want you to come back for more Talk Today, but started off in the morning with Mr. Art for the record, and then come back for Talk Today right after the midday news. Until then, be blessed.
Talk Today is brought to you by Subway, open 24 hours in Countryside, Anderson Square in Georgetown, and Centennial Towers in West Bay. And by the Ministry of District Administration, Tourism and Transport. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your sister islands. MedLab in Smith Road Plaza, your complete medical laboratory solution. Call 949-7331. And Savannah Pharmacy in